How do you say this word? Japan?
Japan.
This video is for you. Hey guys, this is Jeff with Fluent American checking in again, this time talking about the sound in English with the help of Ken Watanabe.
Godzilla.
Now, this sound is very, very particular. Not a lot of languages necessarily have this vowel sound. And if you're not entirely sure what sound I'm talking about, think of the word cat. Cat. How do you make that? Well, for starters, you're going to feel a little bit of a pull with the corners of your lips. You want to stretch it to the sides. Kind of like a little bit tense there. The back of your tongue is down, the front of your tongue is down, the middle of your tongue is a little bit raised. You should be able to see it a little bit if you look into your mouth, like Again, like cat, cat. And of course, as we always mention it, the placement, you want to make sure it's low and relaxed. You're projecting from your throat. Okay, so again, it's like You can tell it's too tense if you hear like That's not quite the sound we're looking for. So for instance, not kit, it's cat. Another sound that often gets confused with this is the sound. It's like some people may say like ket, or another word like blek, instead of black. Can you hear the difference there? So this sound, just continue focusing on it. It can be a little bit tricky. And in fact, that's part of the reason why we're covering this, because I've had a couple of comments recently asking about this sound versus sound, do some comparisons and things like that. So if you wrote those comments, I really appreciate it. That's what this is about. So before we get some help with Ken, so if you're looking for his audio, don't worry, it's coming up very soon. Let's just do some quick exercises to kind of practice some minimal pairs with the sound, some other sounds it commonly gets confused with. Bag, beg, bog. Again, bag, beg, bog. Flash, flesh, floss, flash, flesh, floss. Mast, mess, moss, mast, mess, moss. One last note about the sound that is so key to sounding natural is that if this is followed by a nasal sound, think like the letter N or the letter M or the letters NG, then you're going to feel your tongue slide back a little bit, maybe get a little bit tenser, and then you're going to add a breath out of your nose before that nasal. So for instance, compare these words. Man, men. Again, man, men. Sand, send, sand, send. And if you want some more practice with this plus a nasal sound, like this an, or this am, or this ang, what you can do is take a look at this video, which focuses on it entirely. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Now, especially if you're, say, a Japanese speaker, as well as some other language groups, particularly in Asia, you want to watch out for the sound versus, for instance, the sound. Although apparently this can also be an issue, for instance, for French speakers as well. So let's just do a quick comparison. I'm going to say some words for you guys, and then you'll hear Ken pronounce them as well. So you can hear the difference between a native speaker and a Japanese speaker in this case. Japan.
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 Plant.
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 After.
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 Fascinated.
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 So again, notice that these have sounds, not ah. So again, it's not after, it's after. It's not fascinated, it's fascinated. Let's also practice these words a little bit too for placement to make sure you're not saying them too tense. The first time I'm going to say it relaxed, and the second time I'm going to say it too tense. So remember, the goal is to say it more like the first way. After, 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 after. So again, the second ones were too tense, like where again I can feel the back of my tongue a little bit too high, and again everything's really tight. It feels like a lot of air is being blocked, like after versus after. Plant, plant. Again, plant. Plant. So again, if you're saying like plant, it's way too tense. Relax it more. Bring the sound down. It's not plant, it's plant. Plant. Let's now hear some quick phrases. You'll hear Ken first, and then you'll hear me. By the way, guys, if you're finding this helpful, you can get daily practice like this for your own pronunciation, get feedback and more. Visit patreon.com/fluentamerican to join our Telegram group. After World War II.
After World War II.
After World War II.
After World War II.
Huge earthquake and tsunami destroyed the nuclear power plant.
Huge earthquake and tsunami and destroyed the nuclear power plant.
Huge earthquake and tsunami destroyed the nuclear power plant.
Huge earthquake and tsunami and destroyed the nuclear power plant.
We're still fascinated by Godzilla.
We still fascinated by Godzilla.
We're still fascinated by Godzilla.
We still fascinated by Godzilla.
Find these these sounds a little bit tricky. Take a look at this video on the left, which goes over all of the vowel sounds.